Defensively, though, for the Eagles, they definitely present some challenges. Big time challenges.
Yeah, I guess just the front, really. In my opinion.
I mean, they're leading the league in sacks right now. Obviously, the Steelers had a bye week, but they're leading and they have 17. The Steelers have 15, but they have a variety of guys up there with multiple sacks. I think Brandon Graham has 3 sacks. Derek Barnett has another 3. Javon Hargrave just came back his first game last week. He had a half a sack. Was it Josh Sweat is another guy? They have multiple guys up there that can generate pressure. They can get after the quarterback. So I think this is going to be the biggest test for the Steelers offensive line because we haven't seen them play against a D-line of this magnitude. I thought 2 weeks ago against the Broncos was probably the best D-line that they had saw up until that point. But this D-line right here is really good. And like I said, every week, man, you're seeing them win inside and outside. I don't think this is a scenario where with the Texans where you were just like, all right, we got to watch for this guy right here. Or when we were playing against the Giants, all right, watch for that guy right here. Or the Broncos, all right, it's Bradley Chubb. This situation right here, you don't have just one guy that you're going to single out. Very similar to when you're playing against the Steelers. Which guy are you going to allow to have the single, the one-on-one? I mean, pick your poison. That's the type of scenario they have going on in Philly. I could definitely see that causing some issues. So hopefully the O-line, they did have a really good game that last game against the Texans. Hopefully that can continue on. But if not, that can definitely cause major issues, man.
It definitely could. And like I said in the past, they've been able to get some pressure on Ben whenever in these Steelers-Eagles games for whatever reason. The interesting thing, I'll give you just a little caveat, just something to think about. I'm not going to be ripping on the Eagles pass rush or anything, but the games that they completely dominated, Washington, Bengals, and then 49ers last week, all below average offensive lines. They played the Rams and only got one.
Average offensive lines for the Niners?
That's what I'm reading. A lot of people are ripping on them online. I wanted to do my fact checking before I came on here and said that, but a lot of people are saying the offensive line is the weakest link of the 49ers. So that's kind of all I'm saying there.
Weakest link on that team, yes. In terms of how they compare around the league, though?
Well, they had a bad quarterback. Like that's tough running an offense like that when you got your backup and third stringer too. Yeah, so absolutely. Defenses can come in and tee off.
And they actually used both of those quarterbacks too in San Fran as well, man.
So yeah, when they played the Rams, they only got 1 sack and the Rams dominated them. So that's kind of one of those things that I'm thinking, all right, maybe I'm not going to say overrated, but maybe are the numbers perhaps a little bit misleading.
I get nervous when you say that though.
What?
We said we're not being homers, right?
I'm not, no.
What? Giants offensive line.
What's up? Wait, what are we talking about?
The Broncos offensive line.
Our pass rush? All right, what's the last one?
Texans offensive line.
All right, cool.
I'm just saying, technically, could another party outside looking in say similar things about our pass rush right now?
They can, and we'll prove them wrong. That's all. Right, I think we'll see. We'll see what the Eagles want. Yeah, that's all I want to say. I think we'll prove that wrong. We'll see if the Eagles prove me wrong or not. Gotcha. That's all.
And I guess from a strength of schedule standpoint, with Philly, let's see, they've played They just played the Niners, but the Niners were banged up.
Yeah, Washington. It was the Rams.
Yeah,
Bengals.
Washington got out. They had the lead on Washington, and then Washington's D-line took off. Tied with Cincinnati. Yeah. Similar situations. We're not seeing a lot of dog teams that they didn't beat, man.
Well, they're 1-2-1.
Right.
They're 1-2-1. But that's their strength. And that's just kind of what I wanted to throw out there. Is like, yeah, that is their strength. Yeah. If they dominate us, then we could have some trouble. But I'm thinking going in, maybe it'll be a little bit overblown just because of what I said with the Rams game as opposed to the other 3 games where below average offensive lines from all accounts out there.
Okay.
Especially, we could say the Bengals for sure. They had 8 sacks in that game. Bengals' offensive line is garbage.
But I do think, though, when you talk about the Rams game, I do think the Rams style of offense and how they're playing right now with Jared Goff does play a bigger role in terms of the lack of sacks and the lack of pressure they were able to get in that game.
So what would they be doing drastically different than us, though, is my question.
This is my thing. When we're talking about the different styles, like for the Rams right now, even though Goff is still passing well, and this has been the big misconception when people think of the Rams under McVay, they think, man, pass first always. They are predicated off of the run, and off of that, they use play action pass, which helps Goff get those gaudy numbers. It helps him get the chunk plays. That's what they've been doing even when Todd Gurley was there. That's their style of play. They want to run that ball and play action off of that. you're not rushing the passer like a madman when it's play action. You got to stop this run, especially if you're struggling to stop the run. Whereas with some of these other teams, and more importantly, like we talk about Pittsburgh right now, do you think we're a run first team or do you think we're a pass first team? We're definitely not a play action pass team, even though when we do it, it works. It works when we do it. We just do not do it a lot.
It's weird because we ran the ball a lot against the Texans.
Right.
Actually, I'd say it's a combo of both. Like we have a good balance right now, I think. Because like you said, with the Rams, with the running and stuff, I could say, man, I could see the Steelers having a good running attack against
which
this
they
Eagles
should,
defense.
though. I mean, James Conner being healthy the way he is, obviously, we've had a 100-yard rusher in each game. James coming off his best performance of 2020. I'm banking on that, right? That has to carry over. You're assuming it does because another week of, like I said, being healthy, another week just getting more comfortable, everybody getting back up to speed. So I do think that is going to be a big advantage, man, in terms of him being able to just have that war of attrition, right? How you see him 17, 20 carries type and just kind of wear them down. I can see a scenario like that, honestly.
Yeah, and then you combine everything we've talked about with the Steelers offense and how you could mitigate some type of pass rush and just how our offensive line was playing the first couple games. I think they definitely did a lot better in the Texans game, but you just quick passes, man. And I think that's what I'm talking about with this balance. Like we can do that whenever we want. We could run the ball. I'm not going to, I mean, the Broncos game, I think the numbers are a little bit misleading there, but Giants game and then the Texans game, it just feels like, all right, I think we have a running game here. It's not like those are one-offs. I think we're going to be able to do stuff on the ground throughout the season.
Well, I think especially this game, the Steelers on offense and defense, if they execute, they should still be able to have their way. This isn't a good football team they're playing against. We talked about the team really not being tested. We thought the Titans would be that test. The Eagles aren't the Titans. The Eagles are 1-2-1 for a reason. They have little things that could cause some issues, and a lot would have to go right for them to be successful in this game. I'm just simply saying that they do have some things that can make it a little bit uneasy, but the Steelers, if they do what they're supposed to do, they should take care of business and it not be a debate. But that's the biggest thing right now. We just have to hope that, hey, man, when they come out, that they're going to look like that they're not going to take this as, oh, it's the 1-2-1 Eagles and play down to it. That's what you can't have happen, because then they can make something happen. They can hit a play here or there. And now you're sitting here and we're holding on to our chairs like, which we don't want.